Welcome to Green Disruptors Scaling the Future, a podcast where we dive into the innovations transforming clean energy and the real business challenges of making sustainability scalable. From breakthrough technologies to the tough decisions behind growth, we explore what it takes to build a greener future at scale. I'm your host, Megan Kerr, and my mission is to help green tech companies tell stories that matter. This podcast is brought to you by Mountaintop Social Marketing. I want to welcome Cliff Hoinowsky to the podcast today. I'm really excited to talk with him because he has done something kind of special in the green space, whereas he found something that people already need and already want to buy. So tell us about your product and about yourself, Cliff.
Sure, absolutely. Good afternoon to start. And it's what we do have, you can't see the full one here, but what we came up with is it's called the SunSign. And what it is it's a portable, outdoor, weatherproof, illuminated sidewalk sign. So if you imagine like the A-frame signs or the wind signs that they have out there in front of stores, at events, in front of stadiums, hospitals, currently for wayfinding, for retail advertising, the uses are pretty much endless. Signage is everywhere. But this allows people to present their message, present their advertising, present their wayfinding in an illuminated fashion, and that's completely solar powered. So it's going to offer something that isn't out there currently, and that is the visibility of the signage. It's currently after dark, signs just fade into the night, and it's a sign doesn't do much at all if you can't see it.
Exactly.
It's not going to deliver your message. It's not going to bring in customers. It's not going to have efficient wayfinding abilities.
So how did you get into this? Like, how did you corner this gap in the market?
I initially came out of the parking management sector, and it was there was always a need for something similar. It was whether it was in front of a parking garage or if valet parking, you would always notice it was in a dimmer lit area. Which, by the way, this also adds to the safety and security of those areas.
That was my next thought, totally.
But then also field parking. It's if you had a large event, college football game or outdoor concert, festival, fair, directions were always an issue, and wayfinding was always an issue. Getting people to go where they needed to go and doing it in an efficient way is difficult once it's dark.
Yeah, and like you said, back to safety. Like there's been so many studies about like how crowd behaves like water, and if you can't direct the crowd, it is a safety concern, and as far as being alone at night. So it's pretty cool. I feel like you're hitting so many boxes here. So what has it been like for you to come up with this cool product that people are wanting to buy, but you're like, wow, I'm helping the planet? Like, what's up? And like
it's we designed it at first. I mean, it was trying to fill a void. And it was the void was for the functionality aspect of it, of getting something that's illuminated, getting it out there for the safety, the security, and the solar aspect of it was a beautiful bonus. It is the most efficient means of charging something that is portable. We've put a lot of time, actually multi-years, into developing it, where we had the solar so that it was completely dependable and reliable. It's going to give you the illumination.
When we first started talking, I'm like, it's probably going to shut down in the middle of the night because that's what my solar panels on my roof do,
We didn't want it to be, exactly. We wanted it to still function, whether it's overcast skies or a rainy day or in the middle of the winter. We still wanted it to have full functionality so that it is a product that people do get use out of. And it's, the bonus, obviously, being the sustainability and green aspect of it, that we started to find is people. It's difficult to get people to adopt a certain green and sustainable products if there isn't a full need. It's they're going to look at price.
Or if they're already doing something that's working. Yeah,
exactly. It's if they find something that they need and something that is cost efficient, something that they need, something that's going to assist them in a way, it's a lot easier to get them to adopt a green or sustainable product in that regard. It's offering them something that didn't exist prior, and it's offering them something that has a distinct advantage to whatever they're doing in terms of usage.
It makes me think there's got to be so many other holes like this that, people are either in the stages of developing, products that we may not realize that there was a better green solution, but that people are already using, people are already needing. Because whenever these climate conversations are happening, it's like we're talking about wind turbines and solar panels and electric vehicles, and that's it. But in my view, there's got to be so many other things like this too.
Exactly, and that's exactly it. Like what you said with where there's a better method of doing something or a better product, and it is green. I mean, that's ideal on both fronts because you're offering. You're offering something great to the customer, and you're also offering something that is green and sustainable and that helps the planet. It's not that it's a bonus, but that's going to be the perfect marriage of getting it to out in the market and getting wide usage of that product. It's
because people buy stuff that they really want and that they need and that is cost effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, what I could do is I could turn it on.
Do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me.
To show us this. Yeah, I'm
going to move the screen just to show you exactly the size of it and everything. But that's the panels there on the bottom. So it is double-sided. You have solar panels on both sides that are collecting energy. We utilized a 12-volt seal lead-acid battery, which happens to be more environmentally friendly and also more efficient in terms of a temperature range. It has a much lower temperature range to a higher temperature range. That'll still maintain functionality.
Okay, so tell us about what happened in Dubai. I thought that was a funny story.
we had the faces of the signs we initially designed with PVC, and thinking that PVC has a melting point or a softening point of about 120, 125 degrees, at least the PVC we were utilizing, and I thought that was enough, but it was we do have a distributor in the Dubai and throughout the Middle East, and he had some of these over there during the heat wave. And we were actually experiencing softening of the graphics panels because their heat wave was about 125 degrees, which hit right at that melting point.
I'm going to say, I mean, stuff like that is going to get more and more common too. So, boy, you got to think well beyond
well beyond what you think are your parameters of designing something. But I mean, it was early on. We were able to graphics panels are easily replaceable. And what we did is we went over to a PC that has a much wider range in temperature, both on the bottom and the top range.
So how did you get in contact with all the right engineers and stuff to make this a reality?
I mean, early on, it was, my grandfather always said that education is expensive. And learning exactly what we needed to do was exactly that. It was trial and error for the most part over a period of a multi-year period. So I mean, we had multiple designers or engineers that came in, weren't quite happy with the product. We brought that rendition to other engineers to refine.
And did you have outside investments, or was this funded solely by your company?
Completely self-funded to date.
Wow. Slow clap for you. That's unusual to make it to the finish line, honestly.
It has to be a passion and a good product. It's in order to do that.
Totally. No, that's very cool. So how long have you been to market? Like how long have you been actually selling to businesses?
We're relatively new. It's we did a full launch at the for the most part the beginning of last year, and it was taking things gradual. It's part of we did learn once again where education's expensive. I mean, part of the greatest challenge we have with it is the visibility, is getting people to know that this does exist. It's there's a lot of people that want this product. There's a lot of people that would love to have it. Our customers that do get it in their hands all happen to love it. But there is that window of, if people don't know it exists, they don't even think about it. They don't think it's an option.
Well, it's not something you're Google searching for. Yeah,
it's not something you're Google searching for. It's not something that you even consider. For the most part, it's if you haven't seen it, you're not going to consider it. You just think that you're stuck with a sign in the dark. You're stuck in the dark and getting something that is illuminated. we have found that to date, one of the largest sellers of the sign is people seeing them in person. People see them and they want to know what they are. So not only are they looking at the message on the sign, but they also want to know what the sign is for their own business or for their own use.
So has that been kind of how you found like your current customer base, just like word of mouth and trying to get them?
A lot of it has been, yeah. A lot of it has been where we initially reached out on a smaller scale to people, and they wanted the product, they got the product, they loved the product. We've had a lot of word of mouth where thankfully rave reviews. So our couple years of development is paying off in that regard. But it is something that people love when they have it, and a lot of our customers talk about. So they talk about with other people who may have a need for it, and those referrals have been probably the strongest point in our sales to date.
Well, people trust when they hear it from someone they know and they hear from a friend, and
Absolutely.
Reviews are the lifeblood of any business, really. So sounds like things are off to a good start. So that's probably just like, would you say from like a product development side, like all those kinks are worked out. Now it's just like, let's grow this thing. Like that's kind of where the business is at.
I mean, you always anticipate other things that you don't anticipate occurring.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's, we are, I think, generally on the right path, and it's on the path of the growth trajectory that we're happy with. It's, I do believe it's going to be a product that's not even just within the U.S. It's going to be a North American product. It's going to be a European product, and even as evidenced by our new distributor, it's going to be a product available throughout the Middle East. So it's going to be something that's hitting the whole world and not just the U.S. And once again, that is due to the functionality aspect of it, where there is true real life benefits of using it for everything from retail to the parking business. As long as they're getting a clear benefit out of it, then utilization of a green or sustainable product is a lot easier to get people to adopt.
Do you have any idea like what the lifespan of this product is?
If you look at solar panels, solar panels are going to last 20 to 25 years. The same thing with the LEDs. This is the LED light panel. We'll get 20, 25 years out of it. The only thing that would need changing is the battery. And the battery with the lifespan, we have a custom solar controller in this that's going to... it's also designed to prolong the life of the battery. But that battery should give us about 3 years, a little over 3 years out of the battery. Easily replaceable. It's just a seal lead acid battery, so it can be found online or found.
So this isn't something where you would send a technician to replace it. Like they just order the part online and plug
absolutely
it in.
Not. It's something that once it needs a new battery, I think even Home Depot carries them. So it's very convenient.
Not some specialized size that only your company makes. And
nope. It's. Another aspect of it is the ease of use, and I mean, if it wasn't easy for people to use, then people also wouldn't want it. I think it's a major thing in any product that it has to be easy for the customer to accept and to use and to expand and buy more. I'll shut this off, so I'm out of the dark. I'll come back into the light. There we are.
There we go. I was going to say, I need one for my yard that said the party's here.
we had that. We had early on when someone saw them, they wanted them for their daughter's graduation.
Oh, wow.
So they used it.
You can totally customize like the look of whatever's.
They have, you could print whatever you want on them. So, I mean, it's not just arrows or background. They actually had it printed with photos. So they had a photo collage of their daughter. They had what high school graduation was, what college she was going to. And they had two of them out there for, I guess, a large graduation party.
Okay, so there's a B2C side to this business as well as the B2B.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's something that it's something that really doesn't exist in any other regard.
Did you see the Christmas movie Spirited on Apple?
I have not.
Darn. Well, okay, it's like a retake of A Christmas Carol, but Ryan Reynolds is in it. But there's this whole scene where they're in a graveyard, and all the tombstones honestly look like the sign, and they're all lit up and techie looking and very cool.
well, I don't want to relate it to a tombstone, but
if you want me to edit that out, I will. But...
That's fine.
But if you've seen that movie, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's it. But anyway, they're beautiful though. So, and like,
I appreciate it.
Can it have motion on it, or is it only still image?
These are only still. It's while it's getting there. I mean, it's if you look at functionality, a full LED screen, price points, everything else aren't the best on them. Along with the power needed to charge them is pretty much an impossibility at this point by solar to get an extended period of charge, and also the sturdiness or ruggedness of them. It's fully, we know fully well it's going to be an outdoor product. It needs to be rugged.
Does it weigh? You have to have like a...
they're about 55 pounds. There's extension legs. So if the extension legs are utilized, it's 55. Without them, it's 52. Now the legs do have two wheels on them, so it can be tilted and rolled. And we also have the handle on the top to make it easy.
I mean, we could do that with two people. Like if I was a business owner and I wanted, like, you could stick them in the back of the truck and go.
Yep, that's exactly what happens. It's if they're only utilized short. We have customers who use them nonstop. They're out there 24 hours a day. But if they're only used for one-time use or a couple of nights use, they can just wheel them out. They were designed to be portable, completely portable, so they could fit in the back of a car. Most standard cars they could fit in the back of. I'll correct that. But it's so it's easy to get it out there. It's easy for people to move around, makes them completely mobile. It's part of the entire benefit of them. When we were having it engineered and designed, it's we also have we do have not that it's needed, but we do have an optional charging port that could go into the wall, and that's just there for. Early on, we had a customer who we were beta testing the units, and it was at a restaurant property. And every 2 or 3 days, he was calling us up, and he kept saying that the unit stopped working. So we'd send the engineer out there, and the engineer would look at it and say, "Well, I don't see anything wrong with it." He'd replace the battery, put another one in, say, "Okay, it's working now." They called up a second time, said the same thing. Went out there, saw nothing wrong with it. The third phone call, he took it back to our shop, replaced the sign. We ripped it apart, wanted to see what was wrong with it. Couldn't find anything wrong with it. It wasn't until, and I should have done it earlier, but it wasn't until I asked him, I said, "Well, tell me exactly what you're doing." And he goes, "Sure." He goes, "Every day," he goes, "at the end of the night, I have my guys wheel it inside, and the next day, after it gets dark, we wheel it back outside." It was never in the sun. So after 2 replacement batteries and a replacement unit is when we figured out that he was never having it in the sun to charge. So we said, you know what? Let's just put a charging port on there just in case.
It's like, I can't figure out why I didn't get tan at the beach. Well, I stayed in the hotel the whole time.
Yeah, showing up at 10 p.m. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, I mean, from the product's point of view, it's like, oh, glad it wasn't us. But that is pretty funny. So, note to everyone, it does have to have sunlight at some point during the day.
It does need sunlight to charge. Yep. It's not a gremlin.
Okay. Well, I guess you've given us a lot of cool information. I think this is such a cool product. I can think of, there's almost no retail or big business that wouldn't need this. So I think that's really cool. What's the most exciting part about this business for you at the moment?
I think the most exciting part is seeing them out there. It's when I happen to see one in use that I didn't know was in a location it was. I mean, it's validation.
It's a baby.
Yeah, exactly, and it's validation for the product.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I mean, I think this gives people a really good idea. For me, what I find I just love the most about this is, like, people need it. People are going to want it. It's going to save. Like, I would love to see what the numbers are, with, safety. Like, there's got to be some good safety numbers there, and the just not having to plug something in. And, like, there could be so many variations of this, maybe even signs on the outsides of buildings, and you could save so many gigawatts of power.
People truly don't, until you look, people truly don't realize how many signs are out there. I mean, there's more signs than people. And I mean, they're utilized for everything. And it was even earlier on when we were looking at it and saying, well, hey, well, people want this. And I happened to be at a restaurant locally and in the center of town. And on the way out, I looked around and I could count like 20 sidewalk signs in front of businesses. And I was like, I've never even noticed them before. They kind of fade into the landscape. There's so many of them, you don't even bother to look anymore.
Yeah, we kind of filter it out. So if I was a business, I'd want to be up in front to be one of the first ones.
This makes you visible. It's in that regard, people are like mosquitoes. They're drawn to the light. I mean, they're going to turn and they're going to look when they see the light, and when they look at the light, they're going to see exactly what your message is, whether it's a sale, a promotion, or wayfinding. It's going to work well for any business, university, airport, hospital in that regard. Which that's another one we're finding too is hospitals. If people arrive on a larger hospital campus, it's this actually is a situation where if they need to find the emergency room, it's a situation where seconds or minutes can matter. And anything that's going to improve the wayfinding to get to specific areas they need to get to, or is going to speed up the process of having people get there is a good thing. It could actually save lives.
That's awesome. Well, Cliff, I appreciate you coming on to talk about this. It's your energy is infectious. That's one of the first things I noticed when I talked to you. I'm like, oh, he's so stoked about this, and like that's so cool. And as far as working to better the climate and the planet, if we can work with human psychology instead of against it, I just think that's just gonna.
Absolutely. I mean, that is what we're finding. It's like I said, you present a product that's green first and functional second. It's a harder sell than if you present something that has the functionality and the sustainability aspect behind it. And
then you kind of get to stroke people's ego, like this thing that you want is green, and people want to feel like they're good people and like they're doing what they can,
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Well, very cool. I think we can call it a day here. And well, I guess what I could ask you is where could people go if they want one?
Right now, I would say if they want to check out our website, it's sunsigncontrols.com. Additionally, they could give us a call, which is our phone number is 800-731-3442. We could point them in the right direction to a distributor. Or if it's nonprofits, we could also provide some deals and incentives direct.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure people will jump on that. All right. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks again, Cliff, for joining us today. It's so cool to learn that there are many normal technologies that are now green, and it puts these companies ahead in a competitive market by having that green edge, but they're making the world a better place. So I was really excited to learn about SunSign, and I appreciate Cliff's time today. So thank you for joining us on Green Disruptors, and tune in next time. We're going to have many more conversations ahead.